Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Outs here. It's Friday, and I'm going to do a Friday Freakout. Right away, you sneeze. Right when I start my stream, she sneezes right away. All right, good afternoon. Good. Welcome to Raptor Freak channel. It's Friday, and I'm going to do a Friday Freakout today because there's something that came to my attention recently that Superfan Mo shared with us on the Facebook chat that really pissed me off. And Chris, I see you talking about the team and talking about basketball. That's not what this stream's about. This is not about the team as far as X's and O's and personnel and what we're going to do with them as far as a team. No, this is something much more different that I need to talk about today. It's not good. It's not good. There's an article that came out on CBC and earlier this month on March the 5th, written by Nick Wells. I have no idea who Nick Wells is. Nick Wells could be just an establishment CBC writer. I don't know if he has ties to hockey. I don't know what ties he has. I don't know what his area of coverage is normally. Well, he's written a hit piece that makes Team Canada look really bad and also puts a lot of fear into the future of the program of the men's basketball team, the women's basketball team, and the Paralympic teams for Canada in the future. He has written an article saying that there is a deficit running in the budget for Team Canada coffers, and that after the Paris Olympics, there's no money to invest in having NBA players represent Canada in the future, that we are in big trouble financially, that apparently the federal government is not giving money to Team Canada programs to invest in them so that we can be the best possible Team Canada we can be on the international stage playing against the rest of the world. That we're going to have problems with budget, apparently. Now, I would ask this. Does Team Canada hockey have any problems with budget? Well, they did recently, actually, because of sex scandals, and rightfully so. Some people did not want to invest in Team Canada because there were some really bad scandals that were really, really illicit and wrong. And, well, they did have some funding problems recently, but they got reinstated with their funding last year. And they are fine now. Now, I wonder, does Team Canada want to encourage NHL players to play for Team Canada on hockey? I would guess so. They want to put the very best Team Canada in hockey out there to win hockey games. Well, I want them to do the same for basketball. So, Canadian government, get off your ass and fund basketball in this country. If this is some sort of anti-basketball movement on the underlying racism or whatever, what is going on in this country, I've seen it over the decades. Since the Raptors have existed, the racism and the underfunding and the different things against basketball, you know, whether we tier them on the broadcasts of our sports shows like TSN Sports Center, Sportsnet shit, to make them very less important than other sports on the broadcast, especially hockey for sure. I get that. I can get why hockey is like 90% of the sports broadcast, but I don't totally get it sometimes when curling and CFL are getting better fucking spots and war tendered towards in certain ways. Some people say, well, nobody likes basketball, Lex. It's not as popular. It doesn't make as much money as like the Briars or a Grey Cup and shit like that. I say bullshit. I say that the basketball is making money. The Raptors make money. And y'all are full of shit. That may have been true a while ago, but it's not at this point. It's not at this point, not since the Raptors won a championship. So there's money in basketball. And them ixnaying the WNBA team last year is another example of anti-basketballism in Canada. And I'm telling you, if the government of Canada does not want to fund Team Canada to be the best possible team they can be in the future after the Paris Olympics, shame on them. Because honestly, whatever y'all are trying to do, because I've seen all kinds of shady shit in Canada about holding the sport down. You know, I can use examples, grassroots examples. I'll go to a park around the corner and there's perfectly good hoops, but there's no rims on them in the middle of summer. Why? Is it because the schools don't want people on their property for insurance reasons? Maybe, but this is so stupid. Why are there so many hoops in the general Toronto area that have the rims taken off all the time? They don't want to encourage people to go out there and just play, pick up the ball and go play. It's like the hoops, the courts are there, but there's no rims on them. Why the fuck is this happen all over Toronto? Why do I see this shit all over Toronto? I can understand if you're a private school and you don't want people coming in there and somebody gets hurt and they try and sue your school or something. I just want to know the reason why we're wasting basketball courts out there with no rims on them. I want to know the reason why I go to Walmart and I want to pick up a basketball that they don't have a single damn basketball in stock. And they got 2 rows of hockey stuff. They got rows of baseball stuff, every other sport. But you can't buy one single fucking basketball at Girard Square Walmart. Like, tell me, what is up with that? Is it the manager's anti-basketball? He said, we don't order basketballs and sell them to children. We don't want to encourage the growth of the sport. I'm just wondering. My rant today is against anti-basketball sentiment in Canada because they're trying to hold the sport down. They're trying to hold the sport down. And if the government of Canada ain't going to fund the Canadian team, and so we can have the best possible Canadian team to compete in basketball in the in international play, well, I'm going to say there's discrimination. There's discrimination. If they're going to go and fund a sex scandal crazed Team Canada hockey, they better fund the basketball team, because what they're saying is this could be the last hurrah. That we go to Paris, we have this team, and we may not have an NBA team on our Team Canada after that. Well, I'm going to say, listen, this doesn't totally make sense what the CBC writer wrote. That he thinks, and maybe he's trying to wish something into it. I have to be very skeptical. It is CBC, and they only cover hockey. And boys, hockey night in Canada, a very important thing. It's not like, in some ways CBC shouldn't care because it's a public TV thing. But no, it's not that way anymore. It's a corporation. It's a corporation, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. And there are things about it that aren't like PBS. Trust me. But so I wonder, the entity of the news is coming from CBC, which has nothing to do with basketball at this point. There used to be Raptors games on CBC. That has not been for a long, long time. And, why wouldn't they want to hurt the look of basketball? In some ways, the article is kind of trying to tell everybody that the players need more money, or trying to make it seem like it's the players' prima donnaism that won't show up if they're not funded correctly. I don't know if that's exactly true, CBC writer Nick Wells, because honestly, these players may show up for honor and duty because they love their country and they want to just play. I mean, I don't think that SGA and some of these guys are the kind of guys that are going like, yeah, you need to pay me $2 million for me to play for Team Canada. I don't think that's what it is. So in some ways, they're trying to paint a picture that they're greedy and they want to get more money. And that's what the problem is with the funding for Team Canada. No, I don't think that's what it is. I think that guys like RJ, you don't think RJ is going to play for his dad's program for dirt cheap or nothing? No, I don't think that's what it is. It's the infrastructure that they need for the training. They need to pay the coaches. They need to pay the facilities. They need to pay for the things for them to be set up to get ready to go to this. Now, this is the thing that's crazy. Why wouldn't you fund Team Canada men's basketball or the women's basketball team, sure, too, and the Paralympics? Why wouldn't you do that? Because these programs are successful. In fact, we may medal this summer, and that may be the thing that screws this whole plan up by Nick Wells in the stupid-ass CBC article, that we win something, and all of a sudden, Team Canada's a buzz. Team Canada's a buzz, and there's a momentum that's built that will go into the next cycle. That it's like, you know what? Maybe sponsors will see what they do. Then they'll be like, you know what? We're going to throw money down and sponsor y'all for next thing. Because that's what they want. They either want the country, the government of Canada to start funding them correctly and give them the right stuff, or they want outside private sponsors to come in and sponsor them themselves. But this is the problem. Apparently, this guy's saying there's a deficit. And after the Olympics are over, Team Canada will have no money to spend on basketball. And I'm pissed off about it because I'm wondering, is there money to spend on Team Canada hockey? Well, there better damn for sure be some money to spend on Team Canada basketball. Now, they may be trying to hold down the sport of basketball in Canada, but they're going to fail in the end. It's inevitable. Every motherfucker out there who's in a power player or whatever in charge of media or whatever you're doing, trying to stymie basketball's growth in this country, you can't do it. It's an inevitable thing. It's something that you guys may have been trying for a couple decades since the Raptors showed up, and you failed miserably. This sport has grown in popularity and is just a huge thing and a phenomenon in Canada. It's hugely more and more popular. It's fresh, and the youngsters like it a lot. There's a lot of them playing. You can see at the 9:05 game this week, the school day game, how the enthusiasm. This team sucked 9:05, and these kids came out there and they were loud and they loved it, and they were all about it. They were all about it. The future is bright for basketball in Canada, no matter what the haters try to do to throw roadblocks in the front of it. They can't stop this. They can't stop SGA from becoming popular and going to Paris and trying to get a medal this summer. They can't stop it. And if Team Canada has major success in Paris this summer, it's going to be over. It's going to be over, Vince Carter, because it's going to be like, yeah, we need to invest in this. So shame on you, Team Canada, people that are not supporting Team Canada financially that should be. I know there's a lot of public funds cutting going on all kinds of different places by jabronis and the PC government as far as with our funding for schools and healthcare. And that really is a seedy, ugly ass reason why they're doing it, because they want to privatize that shit and give sweetheart deals to their friends. And, quality of care won't go up. It'll go down and we'll pay more. That's the U.S. model of healthcare. And that's what Doug Ford wants to try and install here. Money is out there. The government makes money off our tax money. And in some ways, I know there's a big contingency of Canadians that will be like, I don't want them to spend money on Team Canada basketball. But they turn around and say, yeah, spend the money on the hockey. This is what we're fighting against. And in some ways, listen, if you're a smart businessman out there, you're going to invest in Team Canada basketball at whatever team it is, the men's, the women's, or the Paralympics, because they are going to get success and you're going to get a good return on your investment. Watch, you will. Now, last summer, when we had FIBA World Cup, they buried the coverage of the Team Canada team on purpose to a degree, because they don't want people to get enthusiastic about what's building and what is really awesome about Team Canada. They got bronze at that FIBA World Cup, but half the country didn't even know. Half the country didn't even know because it was not put on media blast in the way it should have been. And, well, they go to the Olympics. They do something big this summer. It will be. Hopefully it will be. And they try and poo-poo it and put it down. Well, it's because they don't want it to get more and more popular. And I'm telling you, if people have watched the FIBA World Cup with us in the morning last summer, they would have gotten really into Team Canada in that national spirit of rooting for the basketball team in a high-level competition. When we beat the States, oh my gosh, there should have been a lot of Canadian people watching that game that morning when we beat USA in Philippines. Yeah, people should have been watching and they should have been proud, just like when Team Canada beats Team USA in hockey. And that's what I'm saying. My rant today is funding for Team Canada is in jeopardy. And they're saying that after the Paris Olympics, we may not have people like SGA, Lou Dort, Jamal Murray, Dylan Brooks on Team Canada because the funding is not there to have NBA level players. That's fucked up. That is fucked up. If you're going to have NHL players playing for the Team Canada, the hockey team, we better have NBA players and the best that we can possibly put out there. And if y'all are trying to stymie growth of basketball in Canada, you ain't going to get what you want. It's going to grow and it's going to be what it's going to be no matter what. You can't stop this, haters. You can't stop the growth of basketball in Canada. I'm telling y'all. And people that are threatened by it, well, get over yourself because it's coming and you can't do nothing about it. I don't understand this. This sport was invented by a Canadian man. This sport is inherently Canadian. Yet so many people are so anti it. And it's like, oh, no, hockey this, hockey that. I get it. Hockey's important to Canada and should be. But basketball has its place, too, in the sports world of Canada. And that's my point today. Y'all can try and hold it down, but you ain't going to be successful in the end. No, you're not. And if they are successful as hell at the Olympics, if they get a medal, the Olympics this summer, yeah, it's over, you guys. You guys are going to lose. You anti-basketball people are trying to hold them down because the spotlight of an Olympic medal for Team Canada basketball will be huge, huge. In some ways, that's the thing I want them to go get for, is to save the sport in this country and to save people from like going off on it. I'm just saying it's a smart investment, just like the WNBA team would be a smart investment. These dumbasses don't want to make money. Oh my gosh, idiots. Well, we're going to get that team is going to stay NBA for good. I mean, that would be a travesty. Think about it. If we had the NBA cycle of our Canadian players end all of a sudden, and we had only people like Melvin Ejim and the Scrub Brothers showing up because we couldn't afford NBA players on Team Canada all of a sudden, that would be messed up. That's a future that Nick Wells of the CBC wants to paint for it to happen. I'm not trying to have that. So SGA, you go there and medal. And we will avoid that alternate universe that fuckface that CBC wrote about. Yeah, that's my rant for today. The anti-basketball forces against basketball in Canada are strong, and they're trying to do fucked up shit. Whether it's not put the FIBA games on TV in the forefront, whether it's to not fund the team. So that was my rant, and that's pretty much it. I wanted to bring this to y'all's attention so that you could understand it. And a lot of y'all may have not known that this was an issue right now. Well, I wanted to put it on blast a little bit. Now, I don't know how much of an issue this is. This guy, Nick Wells, could be a little fearmonger shithead. And you just want to write some yellow journalism to sully the reputation of Team Canada and its standing right now. You know, anti-basketball people are laughing and they're happy right now because the Raptors are a joke. And when the Raptors aren't doing well, they're happier because we're not garnering more fans because we're popular and winning. In some ways, when the Raptors are not doing well, that entity is very happy, very, very happy. That's anti-basketball. So, yeah, that's my rant. I don't know if you guys want to talk more about it, put more in the comments. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say in my Friday Freakout. And whatever they're trying to do, it's not going to work. The basketball will prevail, and you can't do anything about it. A Canadian man invented it, Dr. James T. Naismith. Now, I'm proud of that. And more Canadians should be proud of the fact that a Canadian man invented the sport of basketball and that it is inherently somewhat a Canadian sport. But no, they don't want to take it that way. They don't want to take it that way. Problem maybe because primarily black people play it. Fuckface racists in this country. That's what I'm gonna say right there. All right, let's see what Chris is saying. So Team Canada gets Australia to start easy. Giddy and Mills have no answer for SGA and Murray. And I think now that Edie solves a lot of size problems given his rise in playability. No, I feel real good about us in that group. I mean, don't slouch on Australia. Seriously, it's not just Giddy and Mills. They have multiple NBA players. They have Joe Ingles also. They have like 4 or 5 NBA players. So in some ways, they're kind of like us. They're trending towards the U.S. team as far as how many NBA guys they have. And Australia is no slouch. In some ways, like, look, we finished better than them at World Cup, but they honestly could have been in the spot that we were in and done that well too. They are definitely somebody not to take lightly. And when we play them, we're going to have to beat them. I think we beat them last summer, but I'm not totally sure. They might have beaten us in the one game we played them. I don't remember completely. But yeah, I'm not taking them lightly. I feel like we could play them very well and beat them for sure. SGA is probably the best player in that matchup. But I wouldn't count our chickens before they hatch. And I wouldn't take Australia lightly at all. They are a tier with USA, Canada, and Germany and Serbia. They are not in a lower tier. They're in a tier up with us. And even France and Spain are in that tier too. Yeah. Monique is here. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. What a topic. Help me understand it better because I know you weren't happy in the first place when I shared it. Yeah. Thank you for sharing it in the first place. And please, Monique, don't mistake my anger about it towards you. No, I'm not killing the messenger here. You were very helpful and informative to bring that to me because I had not seen it. I don't really look at CBC for news at all. And it fell through the cracks on me. Now, when you brought it, it was upsetting to me. I was very, very mad about it. Now, Mo, if you have any further questions about it, I've kind of described it already in the stream. Go ahead and ask me more specific questions. But hopefully I've elaborated enough this morning that you can fully understand what I'm talking about. It's about funding. It's about that may not be funding for Team Canada basketball programs soon. It's for the men's, the women's, and the Paralympics teams. So it's a problem. But I feel like things can happen with success, and this could change very quickly. There could be some sponsors that step up all of a sudden and help things very quickly. Or Team Canada, the national program that gets funding from the government will maybe get the right funding after they see great success in the program. I don't know. Either way, I'm not worried about this totally. I think that this journalist is trying to strike fear and kind of make a doomsday picture for basketball in Canada. And I feel like he's the asshole and maybe just writing this in the first place. Now, these may be real concerns, but I think in the end, once again, that things will be worked out. And, there's smart businessmen out there that want to make money. Well, there's good investment in investing in Team Canada, I think, even though it's nonprofit. It can have all kinds of ripples that would be good in good ways with success is what I would say. But yeah, I'll elaborate on any specifics about what we just talked about as you need, Monique, because I want you to be as informed as possible. Trevor's saying, good morning, Raptors family. Good Friday. Happy Good Friday. And happy Easter to everyone. Let your friends and family know the greatest gift they have on this day is life. Nothing else comes before it. In fact, you know what? On this topic, I'm going to go ahead and go right into the birthday for today. We have a Raptor birthday today that's sad. He would have turned 44 today, Robert Archibald. He's a Scottish player who played at Illinois, and he also played briefly for the Raptors in the early 2000s. It's really, really sad, the story of Robert. Robert shot himself in 2020 at the age of 39. He's suicide. And it's really, really sad. He had a very brief career with the Raptors. He did play for us for 30 games. He started 3 games. He averaged 8 minutes a game, and he only averaged 1 point a game. But he was well known more for his college career. He played for Illinois with Deron Williams, and he was very good, close friends with Deron Williams. Now, he was traded to us from the Orlando Magic and played for us just briefly in 2004. He was a 6'11" center out of Paisley, Scotland, and he was living in Illinois when he took his life in January of 2020. Well, I want to say happy birthday to Robert Archibald, even though he's passed away, and it's a sad story. And just bring a little light towards suicide awareness. If you need help, get a call to a crisis line. There's a new suicide line here in Canada that they started since the pandemic happened to be really a good resource to get people help. You know, Bell Let's Talk stuff, all this kind of things. If you're in a bad place and you're having suicidal thoughts, get help. And there is people out there that care about you, even if you don't feel like they are. There are people out there that you matter to, and you may not even realize it. So please get help if you're feeling suicidal. And happy birthday, Robert Archibald. And yeah. All right, let's see. Trevor, classic card of the day. Cosmic card of the day. Let's go. All right, let's see who it is. First person who writes in the full name in the chat will get 100 points added to their Raptor Freak trivia score. Who do we have today? Oh, this is fun. I don't know if you guys are going to get this one easy, but I've always been wrong when I say, oh, you won't get this one. This is another one of those Cheeto-looking cards. All right, I'm going to bring it up from the bottom, and whoever writes it in first is going to get it. So let's see. Is it going to be Smooth Brown Man once again? Let's see. All right, let me see. Here we go. Coming up on the side. Hang on. All right. It's not Detlef Schrempf, just so you know. It's not him behind him. It's the Indiana Pacers player. Who is that, y'all? Who is that? Who is that? Who do you think that is? That's an interesting card. This is a little tough. You guys are going to get a clue if you need a clue. But, yeah, who is that? Number 24 for Indiana Pacers. He looks like he's a little shorter because Detlef's standing behind him. And let's see, Reggie Miller's teammate. That's a great guess, MSJ. That's a great guess, Chris. He probably did play with Reggie Miller. Yeah, he did. He was playing with him at that time because Reggie was on that team forever. Yeah. No. Come on now. What do you think, guys? Where's Smooth? Smooth, you don't know who this is? Come on, guys. You guys want a clue? Well, this guy's name is very much the same name as an A.A. Milne character. That's right. Maybe that's too much of a guess. Do you guys know who A.A. Milne is? Do you know who he is? His main character? Well, that's the same first name of this guy. If you can know that, that's a pretty good trivia question to figure this card out. I'm surprised that y'all are having this much trouble with this, actually, because y'all have been so good with the really obscure stuff. Like John Turner, yeah, I guess because he was a Rocket. That's why Smooth got this. But, man, all right, I could say another team this guy played for was Minnesota Timberwolves. Yeah. David's saying Rick Smits. No, that's a silly guess. That's a silly guess. Honestly, that's a silly guess. You guys don't know who A.A. Milne is? Nobody knows who A.A. Milne, the author, is and what his most famous book that he wrote was. Let's see. Jonathan Bender? That's a good guess, David. That's the best guess so far. He's much shorter than Jonathan Bender, former Raptors draft pick. Terrell Brandon. Yeah, no, it's not Terrell Brandon of the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's a close guess to his size. Yeah, that's about right with the size. A little bit bigger player than Terrell Brandon. Jonathan Bender. No, it's not Jonathan Bender, David. It's not Bender. I keep telling y'all, A.A. Milne. What's another word that you guys don't know who A.A. Milne is? Well, he's a Disney product now. There we go. Chris got it. It's Pooh Richardson. That's Pooh Richardson. That's right. Good job, Chris. Pooh Richardson. That's right. Pooh Richardson. See, the back of the card looks like a Cheetos bag with the crazy writing, chest of cheetah writing. Yeah, Pooh Richardson's the right answer. Good job, MSJ. 100 points to Chris for his Raptor Freak trivia score. Yeah, A.A. Milne wrote the Winnie the Pooh stories, and Tigger and Christopher Robin and Eeyore and Owl and Kanga and Roo. All that stuff. That's what I was talking about. Yeah. All right, let's keep going with the chat. Thank you, Trevor, for the cosmic card of the day. Once again, Commissioner Fun commissioning the cosmic card of the day. Poo. You got poo on your screen, Lex. You better wipe it off. You got some poo on your screen. Ugh, gross. All right, let's see. Nako saying, thank the Lord for the burning bush. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Easter this Sunday, y'all. Easter Sunday, Good Friday, Ash Wednesday, Fat Tuesday. Yeah, it's that religious time. That's right. Chris is saying SGA, Murray, Brooks, Dort, Wiggins, RJ, Sharp, maybe Thompson, Banton. It just goes on. And the Kelly O, Powell, Eddie rotation for center is enough. The dark forces are failing. Well, can we afford to pay them or have them come back? I don't even know if they get paid. I think it's really just to pay for the facilities and the things, maybe the flights for them, maybe the hotels. This is the funding we need this stuff for, is the infrastructure for them to do the stuff they need to do on the schedules. I'm not sure what it is. In some ways, Team Canada is going to be a lot different if we can't play NBA players and the rest of the world's playing NBA players. That's not a good future. That is not competitive for us. And that's, in some ways, it's like selling us short on our potential for what we could actually be in the world as a power in Canada and as a power in basketball. So it's a silly thing. I don't know if we should be scared of it. It seems like it doesn't seem realistic. It's kind of like the doomsday of like, oh, Masai's going to go to Washington Wizards. That kind of bullshit just kind of being put out there. I don't know if it's a real thing that should be worried about. Maybe that Larry Tannenbaum has some crazy company and he's like, yeah, we'll sponsor them. They're all good. Yeah, they're fine. We could be saving basketball. It's like they try to thwart us from getting WNBA team. Well, Teresa Resch is saying, fuck y'all. I'm going to go and make a group. We're going to do this anyway with Tannenbaum. Where there's a will, there's a way. And in this country, there is a will for basketball to increase and grow. And there is a way for it, even if people are trying to put things in the way of that way. Yeah. So that's the way I look at it right there. Trevor J saying Hawks find a way to beat the Celtics twice. Yeah, I'm shocked by this. I really thought Ed Malloy was in the game last night with Boston and Atlanta to help the Celtics win, but apparently that's not what he did. Apparently he did the opposite. He was stymieing the Celtics and kind of holding them down a bit. That's very interesting. In some ways, this is kind of like a game where in some ways the refs will favor one side with foul calls in the first half and even them out in the second half. It could very well be that some of the stat parameters that we monitor, like the free throw attempts for the Lakers, are looking a little egregiously weird, and that they need to kind of balance out how overpoweringly they made the Celtics record this season. So now the refs are kind of doing some balancing like against them. Now that they're all set and they're at a top, good, safe spot, nobody's going to touch them for the rest of the year. They can actually hand them some losses to counterbalance maybe some of them handing them wins in the past. So I think that may be part of what's going on right now, because it's fishy. Ed Malloy normally helps the Celtics, but to make it all look on the up and up, maybe he had to screw them over last night just to make it look like he's not really helping them. So, yeah, I can be very suspicious about this and talk about this in a way that, like, yeah, I can see the reasons why Ed Malloy would screw over the Celtics last night to balance things out over the season, just like a referee would balance fouls calls out over a game. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I'm glad the Hawks won. And, yeah, fuck the Celtics. Every time they lose, I'm happy. So thank you, Ed Malloy. And last night also, the Bucks lost. Trevor's saying Bucks lost too. They're in trouble to the play-in or to the playoff. They're in trouble to the playoff. Well, they're pretty high up. They're not in trouble to get in the play-in. I think that they're pretty much a playoff team, even if they lose quite a bit on the way out. They're pretty high up. I don't think they're in that much trouble. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But, yeah, Bucks losing also last night is surprising to me. It's almost like they only had 2 games last night, and the 2 marquee Eastern Conference teams both lost. It's not like Atlanta. It's crazy because Atlanta won by 1 point, and Trae Young's not back yet. And what did I say when Trae Young got hurt? Atlanta's going to be better without him, and they were. They have been. They've been winning way more without Trae Young playing for them while he's been injured this recent time. So that's hilarious. And then, of course, the Pelicans beating the Bucks last night. That's fantastic. And the Pelicans are a very good team. They're a very, very good team. And I'm all about them. Yeah. Chris is saying, but let's be real here. The team jersey should really say Brampton on it. Which team? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Which? Let's be real here. Which team? The real team? Oh, because of all the players that play on Team Canada? Nah, come on, man. That's not true. Honestly, these guys come from all over. And honestly, I think more of them are from Mississauga, technically. There's guys from Scarborough. We've had people that are playing from out west too. In some ways, you could say Kelly's really a BC guy, even though he was in Toronto for his early years. He's in some ways more Western Canada guy. In some ways, he really is. Let's see. MSJ saying the real home of Canadian basketball and worst drivers. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We don't need to make that dig. No Brampton Ute conversations here. Let's see. Waste Ute. Nako's saying, my friends all pay extra on car insurance because they live in Brampton. Oh, wow. Okay, you guys. All right. Double down on that, Nako. Let's see. Chris is saying it truly is an adventure driving there. Everyone is in a rush. Motorcycle insurance is sky high. The real dark force for Canadian basketball is the players surviving car accidents when visiting family. You know what? I don't think these jokes are funny, Chris. First of all, I feel like they're a little bit kind of racist because we know, certain things about Brampton. And then second, it's like, why are you introducing this into the chat just to be funny? Like, this isn't Dump on Brampton hour. And I really didn't bring up Brampton in any kind of way. And you guys are kind of going off on it. And it's just not funny. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to do this. I've seen the backlash that Scotty Barnes got for his waste you comment about Brampton. And I'm just not going to do this. There's probably some really good Raptor freaks in Brampton. I respect Brampton. And I'm not gonna get into this with you guys. Nako may be saying something true. The car insurance is a little bit extra there, but I just don't understand why you're introducing this topic in this kind of way and coming at it like this. Just because you think Team Canada players all are from Brampton, that's not true though. That's not true. There's a lot of basketball all over Canada, and it's not just in Brampton. There's basketball in my neighborhood over here in East York too. And yeah, I don't get your point. I don't get your point. What you guys are saying. If they're jokes, they're not funny. All right. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy Friday. Happy Friday to you, Fiercely Salsera. Let's get this weekend going right. I feel like we should be playing today. The beats of like every other day games have been very I got used to the rhythm of it. And all of a sudden now today should be a preview for a game. But no, there's a missing game on the schedule. That, it'd be easy to just have a game today instead of some of this back-to-back somewhere else in the schedule. In some ways, that makes me mad that we got like 3 days off in a row. But also it's good for the team in certain ways. Hopefully it's good for the conditioning of Quickly and Barrett to come back and be ready to play. That's right. Fiercely saying that writer, did he back up his claims with proof? Is there a public annual budget? I'm not sure. I tried to do a little research about this before I went on the air a little bit more. It seems like the budget for hockey and basketball is similar. The hockey gets like $7 million a year or something from Team Canada, and then we get like $5 million for basketball or something like that. I was trying to look at the specific numbers of what's given to them. Well, they're saying this fiercely that the Team Canada basketball will be $140 million in deficit after the Paris Olympics, is what they're saying. So I don't know what is to believe and what is actually scary about this. Because like I said, if they find a sponsor and everything's going to be all fine, I think it should be a priority to keep Team Canada as high level NBA as it can be. And honestly, if y'all are really caring about Team Canada beating Team USA in hockey, you should be caring about it in basketball too, because we're that close. It may be in the past, Team Canada is futile to put money in to try and make it as good as it is, like Leo Routen's times, the Sherman Hamilton times, even Steve Nash and Rowan Barrett Sr. times. But at this point, we are very ready to compete at the same level with eye to eye with the top teams in this world. And it would be a travesty that finally Team Canada is at this point that they wouldn't have funding to be able to get our best team possible there. That would be a problem. That would be a major, major problem. So I don't know. Fiercely, if you want to do your own independent research on this in some ways about this, I bet you there is some public record out there that you can go look at. G saying tax credits for parents putting their kids in sports and arts were removed too. Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit going on with governments right now, taking things away from people. And it's not right. It is not right. We pay taxes here. We should see the fruits of our taxes. And in some ways, that's why I love living in Canada over the States, because my tax money doesn't go to fighter jets that are bombing and killing people around the world. I mean, I know some of it does here, but it's not on the same level. And I can see my tax dollars going into public service stuff here that's helpful to the community and that I can see the reap the benefits of myself. In some ways, it's not like that for people in the States. They complain about taxes and they don't get jack shit back. Well, Biden's infrastructure plan is better. And he said he's going to rebuild that bridge himself federally. But a ton of the money that the Americans pay in taxes goes toward the war machine the profiteering machine, and the death and destruction and the crimes of humanity against humanity. And that's what I'm saying. So yeah, that man, I hate hearing this kind of stuff. Chris is saying, so this is Trudeau's fault. I knew it. Laugh out loud. Blackface hates basketball. See, Chris, you're going in areas I just don't like. In some ways, I'm going to give you a strike because you're being unnecessarily controversial. And in some ways, this is not stuff I want in my chat. You're bashing Brampton, and now you're going to go bash Trudeau. Nah, dog, I'm not about this. I stand with my prime minister. He's not perfect. Yeah, he's a dumbass for doing blackface, but he's better than the alternatives. Just trust me on that. Go figure. And seriously, I wouldn't worry about it. An Olympic showing will see money flow into the program, not to worry. Well, this is what I'm hoping, is that their success will beget support. And I think that that's true. I think that that's true, that part. But seriously, you didn't need to take a dig at Justin Trudeau. We don't know what part of the government's fucking this up. He could very well be the one that's for funding the Canadian basketball. And it may be the PC or whoever else that are holding it up or being little bastards. So, yeah, let's just not assume things, Chris. Seriously, I'm not liking your energy today, honestly. Fiercely saying, yes, G, I can no longer claim my daughter's swimming and basketball activities. I also think her math tutoring has no bearing on my taxes, but I'd have to verify on that. No, don't want to spread lies. Yeah, that's tough. I hate hearing that kind of stuff. I mean, I know that they have a program to encourage kids for funding to play hockey. That's what I'm saying. You got to be fair. I get it. Hockey's more expensive. And y'all want it to be more accessible for people that are low income. So you have programs to help low income kids get access to hockey. Well, I mean, I get it. Basketball is real easy to access without those programs. But still, in some ways, I know y'all are trying to stymie and stop the growth of basketball in Canada in all kinds of nefarious ways. Powers that be are out there, whether they're racist or pro hockey or whatever they are, pro status quo and anti-change, anti things evolving and just becoming what they're supposed to be is what it is. If there's some idealistic Canadians out there that this is the way my country used to be, and this is the way I think it should be, well, get over yourself, because progress and times change. And that's just how it is. Your idealized Norman Rockefeller version of Canada, you can have that in your own little pocket of your world. But honestly, the whole rest of this country is going to go forward, and especially in the cities, because we're progressive and we're moving towards the future and we're moving towards stuff that we like. And basketball is something that people like going in the future. And that's just how it is. That's right. That's right. Infamous saying, salute, freaks. Facts, Lex. The Raptors is Canada's most valuable franchise. That's a fact. More valuable than the Leafs. Notice this is never mentioned. Yeah, we've said it on here, and it is known to a lot of people, but some people argue it and they say you're crazy, but they don't understand it's actually true at this point. Now, this may be part of the reason why the Raptors not being so good right now is very much making people smile, because they may not like the fact that the Raptors are number one most valuable sports franchise in all of Canada right now, and they want to devalue us. So being a 23-win season and having a betting scandal and all kinds of stuff around our team is not helping our brand value right now. So in some ways, there's people that are evil against the Raptors that are smiling right now because our brand value is going down, just so you know. Yeah, G's saying this hurts the lower income families the most that need these credits and keeps these kids off the streets. Don't like to get into politics, but a lot of bad decisions. Yeah, I hate hearing this. And honestly, I want to be optimistic about the future, but there's just too much greed around society at this point, and it's making too many of the decisions. And like I said, it's careless capitalism. They're not caring about the right things and the things that should matter in life. They're caring about bottom lines and making profits for shareholders and silent partners and CEOs ballooning salaries. They don't give a shit about what it does for this community. Don't give a shit about how it has an impact on the working families. And it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. And someday we're going to come around and make things right. Watch. We will. Chris is saying, Lex, the CBC, who the fuck cares? Anyway, here's the music trivia. What does the hip-hop group Black Moon stand for as an acronym? Okay, what? All right, Chris. All right. Well, listen, I don't normally see stuff like this, and Monique brought it to my attention, and it's out there. So people are reading it. And we also got to figure there's a certain segment of Canadian population that very much has CBC as their main news source. So it can shape people's minds on how they feel about subjects. And if they see that and they'll be like, oh, I don't know. Different people are going to have different reactions to it. If you're somebody like us, you love basketball, you're going to be mad. If you're somebody who's like anti-basketball, you're like, good. You'll be like the emperor, like, yes, I'm glad this is happening. In some ways, I get it. I think the CBC should be important. I have family ties to CBC because my grandfather worked for them for a long time, for decades. And in some ways, I want the CBC to be better than it is right now. But I understand there's people that are in charge of the CBC that have agendas, and it's run like a corporation at this point, and it has a lot of issues with the way it's run. If they could get back to what it was supposed to be and had been in the past, that would be great. But CBC's all fucked up with administration and people that are at the top that have the wrong priorities. Now, there's a lot of problems right now in our society with the dispersal of information, truthful information, newsworthy information. There's a lot of clouding things. There's a lot of filtering out of news. In fact, right now, the fight with Facebook and the government of Canada is not allowing us to see as much news in certain ways, partly because of a blockade. So there's all kinds of weird shit going on, whether it's AI taking over journalist jobs and journalists aren't writing them anymore, whether it's, just even less jobs in general for journalists, and the coverage and the information getting out is being more controlled in weird ways. There's a lot more misinformation for sure. Now, I want CBC to go back to what it's supposed to be, the idea of what it was founded on. And in some ways, it's become a company that's making profit or something like that. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but the person who runs CBC should not have a crazy ass ballooned salary, is what I'm saying right now. The person that's at the very top they're just like any other CEO, is making 3,400 times more than their average worker. They need to fuck right off and get their salary right now, because and the people at the top of CBC are like that for sure. All right, I've delayed long enough to try and answer this music trivia question. I'm really going to think about this first. What does the hip hop group Black Moon stand for as an acronym? That's a weird question. Well, I would just say like BM. Isn't that what that would be the acronym for their name? I don't know. I don't know how to answer this because in some ways I don't totally understand your question. What does the hip hop group Black Moon stand for as an acronym? I can't figure this out. Is this a Canadian hip hop group too? Because I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure. Chris, you give me the answer. I will say BM. I'll just say bowel movement. BM. That's the acronym. Because I can't get this. I don't totally understand your question. Trevor's saying that is too funny. For the country who invented basketball, don't want nothing to do with it. It's like get someone pregnant and tell them to get rid of it. Yeah, I'm kind of mad about this, Trevor. I mean, it's my rant could have been a lot more fiery. In some ways, I just said what I wanted to say about it. I could have got more passionate about it, but in some ways, I just wanted to say what I had to say. If we're dumb and we don't allow our golden age of Canadian men's basketball to occur and women's, we're idiots. We're absolute idiots because right now we're set to poise to be a world power in that world competition. And if our government and people can't see this, they're not paying attention. They don't understand what's coming on with Canadian basketball. Well, if they drop the ball, man, that's going to be such a shame. It's going to be such a shame because honestly, we did not compete very well in basketball until the last 10 years. And we are arriving, and we don't need the financials to hold us up on this. We really, really don't. We really don't. Smooth saying basketball is already a more popular sport than hockey in Toronto, and it's spreading into the rest of Canada. It's less expensive to play. And I'm a Leafs fan, by the way, not a hockey hater. Yeah, I'm not either, really. I mean, I want the Leafs to win, and I'm not like really anti-hockey. I may seem like it at times, but it's only because I want basketball to get their fair shake. And sometimes I feel like I have to be anti-hockey just because there's a lot of force coming from the other way. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Exactly, Smooth. That in the city, Toronto, some people are trying to say, no, the Leafs are more popular downtown. No, that's bullshit. In some ways, that championship parade, the things that happened with the Raptors in 2019 bonded common people that didn't really have an interest in sports in general and made them all about Raptors all of a sudden. Seriously. There were shopkeepers and people that didn't really watch the Raptors. They were like, I want to see what's going on and get a part of this feeling of championship. And they did. And it made these people more attracted to it. In some ways, because it's the Toronto team, of course, the Toronto city is going to feel it the strongest. But this was felt across the country, too, to a degree also. And it's not just in the city. As Smooth said, it is happening in smaller towns and different places. And WNBA can go play in Edmonton. this summer. We can go play exhibition games in Montreal and Vancouver and Calgary and different places also. So yeah, the growth of basketball in Canada is inevitable, and they've tried to impede it as much as they can. It just doesn't happen. People like Vince Carter make it inevitable. People like Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry and Nick Nurse and the championship team make it inevitable. People like Scotty Barnes make it inevitable. So yeah, they can do what they want. It's not going to happen. Chris is saying, Lex, youth basketball has exploded in the last 10 years. There's nothing in this CBC bullshit. Yeah. I mean, the part of the funding is what worries me the most. And it's not even for the youth programs and stuff like that. It's for the team. It's for us to be able to have NBA players on our team. Now, if this guy's just trying to fearmonger and there's not really a real chance, like if I went up to SGA and said, dude, are you going to stop playing for Canada after the Paris Olympics? He's like, fuck no, man. I'm going to be there every time. I'm committed. This is my thing now. I'm going to build a legacy, and I'm going to be there with Dylan and Jamal and RJ and Kelly every single time. That's what I wonder too. It's like this dude could write this. The people that are saying the money won't matter. Well, do these Canadian players care? What do they care about? And where are the limits? And maybe this is some of how we vet which one of the very talented Canadian players play for us is the ones that are willing to do the things for honor and dignity and for the country instead of like totally necessarily that. Because I don't know how much these guys get paid or if they do get paid or how that whole system works. In some ways, I don't want to know. And in some ways, I just want this to happen with the best possible talent that Canada can put on the court. But if it is a case where some of these guys are like, yeah, if I'm not getting my stipend or I'm not getting this kind of luxury on the flight or this hotel room, I don't want to play. Okay, well, then don't play. We've got enough other talented guys that may be wanting to do it at that level. So I don't know. I think you're right, Chris, that this article is bullshit and I shouldn't put a lot into it. But in some ways, somebody's putting this out and I want to counterpoint it. And we need to talk about it and see if it is actually a real issue and a real dilemma. And yeah, let's see. Fiercely saying, if Ben Simmons joins the Australian team, it's game over for us. Not. I was going to say it's game over for them if he plays. Do you think that's likely? Come on. This guy's not trying to play basketball. He's trying to collect checks. And any kind of way he can say he is, they should have an insurance investigator just following him around everywhere and writing notes. Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he's fine. You know what I'm talking about? The people that come and check people that are put that thing around their neck or they're all of a sudden on crutches. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. David's saying brothers lyrically acting, combining kicking music out on nations. Okay, that's the answer to what that David answered it. David's getting the music answer, and that sounds right. Black Moon stands for brothers lyrically acting, combining kicking music out on nations. Beautiful. David got it. I'm going to give David a 3-pointer for getting the music trivia question. Awesome, David. Thanks for coming in and getting it. I did not know that. I don't think I've ever heard of that band. You guys got to remember also, if you're asking me Canadian music questions, I'm not going to do good because I grew up in the States and I did not listen to Canadian radio. I do not know anything about Deborah Cox. I do not know anything about the Fifi Dobson that came to the women's empowerment game and did the halftime. That's a Canadian artist I had never heard of until that night when she was at the Scotiabank Arena for the game recently. I have a very big blind spot for Canadian music that only was on this side of the border and did not get played in United States. So there were a couple of Canadian artists that made it over there, like Bryan Adams, Alanis, Rush, Glass Tiger. There were some Canadian artists that managed to break over. Loverboy, yeah. But a lot of the Canadian artists that people know here, I do not know, and I think this is one of them. This is one of them that I do have no idea they existed or who they are. So, David, thanks for getting that. Let's see. Stargate saying, "Good morning, Raptor Freak family. This anti-basketball topic is not one that can be discussed in chat room type of environment. Lex, I suggest a call-in show for more adequate discussion." You know what? All right. I like your proposal, Stargate. And if you want, what we'll do is this summer on a Thursday think tank, we'll do a call-in show on anti-basketballism in Canada just because of your request. I won't do it today because I'm not set up to get on the phone and do it right with you guys today, but I will definitely do this summer. We'll make sure this is one of the topics for the Thursday think tank on one of our Thursdays when we do the call-in show this summer, and we will definitely do that, Stargate. I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Chris is saying, nice. Yeah, I'm on it. Yeah, see, good job, David. Really, really proud of you. Yeah, Reggie Miller's teammate is hilarious that you wrote that. I mean, that's technically right, Chris. You know what? I'm going to give you a dunk for being technically right about your guess, because that is a very good guess. That was technically Reggie Miller's teammate. So, Chris, you'll get a dunk. You're at the Delano Banton Rexdale bus 45, my guy. You got a Rexdale bus number now. You're 45. All right, let's see. Wayne saying, what's new with sports involving mostly non-white people? A non-white at a helm, non-white as a coach, and mostly non-white players. I'm shocked that people are shocked. Yeah, I don't like bringing this topic up. And some people would say, why you bring up the race card, Lex? Well, because in some ways, when it comes to basketball, it has been an issue throughout the whole time of basketball. You know, we can think about all the race issues around Bill Russell from back in the day in the Celtics. You know, some of the stories I've heard recently about some of the teams not going to places in like Memphis in the South because teammates were not allowed to come into restaurants or hotels like other teammates were, and people would boycott and leave those states. There's always been a civil rights struggle around basketball to a degree. And in some ways, there's been great lengths and leaps and bounds in certain ways, especially in the States. I would say basketball is very mainstream and looked at equally with the other main sports, but not in this country, in Canada. No, it is not. And there is still very much a looking down on NBA, the Raptors in general, by a lot of Canadians in this country. And I feel like it is an overwhelming fear, a xenophobia of immigrants and people coming to this country and moving here for better opportunities. And there is a bit of that kind of xenophobia that's involved in this whole thing. So David's saying Rick Smits. Yeah, Rick Smits was not right. That's Detlef Shrimp. Nameless is saying, hang on, it jumped ahead. Yikes. He's saying, nope, they saw Raptors overtake Leafs as most valuable franchise and said, F that, we ain't having it. Yeah, I do feel like there is forces out there to try and sully the reputation of the Raptors. This Jonte Forder scandal is very good opportunity for some of these people to kind of try and do that. So even some of those cartoon characters were in here the other day. They could be working on that tip. As far as like, there are people that are really more hockey people and they just want to kind of kick the Raptors while they're down. They may not have necessarily been fans of other basketball teams in the NBA. They could have actually been Leaf fans that were in here doing that. I wouldn't put that past them. Seriously. So, all right, let's see. Good job, Chris, getting Pooh Richardson. Let's see. Chris is saying, lucky I remember that kooky name. A.A. Milne. Yeah, he's the author of Winnie the Pooh. And that's why that was the clue. Yeah. Yeah, nice job. Nice job. Smooth, you were just behind with the Pooh Richardson. Just behind with your Pooh. Yeah, Mo's saying, I fully understand today's topic. Thanks again. No problem, Mo. I'm glad I could clarify it for you. And honestly, I hope Chris is right. I hope this is just a lot of CBC bullshit hot air and that this won't be an issue in the long term. I can't see how this is. I mean, this team is just winning. It's just dumb business to not invest in Team Canada and how their trajectory is going with the success they're going to be going towards. And it's the same for the women's team, too. They're coming up, too, just as strong as the men's. And it'd be a damn shame. It'd be a travesty, especially since we're on our way up. And somebody wants to try and stop that? No, I don't think they can. I don't think they can. Nameless is saying the astrological symbolism in Christianity for Easter is insane. It's amazing people cannot see it hiding in plain sight. I don't even know what you mean by that. And in some ways, I don't want to get educated on that. Nameless, always good to see you, my guy. Stargate saying, hey, I live in Brampton. See, don't be talking about people in Brampton. Stargate is definitely no way shoot in Brampton. And we love Stargate. And that's why, listen, it's a part of the GTA. It's family. And I don't like when the boroughs go at each other. Mississauga talking shit about Scarborough and vice versa. I'm not about that. I'm all about United GTA. And we're all good. We're all good. We're not going to break down by Galloway boys and Jane and Finch. No, we ain't doing that shit on this channel. No, we're not. No, we're not. And I want everybody to be happy in one big family in the GTA. That's right. Our Brampton people are awesome. I love you guys. That's right. That's right. That's how we go in there. Yeah. Fiercely saying 140 million in deficit. Yeah, that's what they're saying. 140 million in deficit after the Paris Olympics are over. It may be getting to the Olympics and having everything for it. It could be security stuff. It could be paying the coaches. It could be, there's all kinds of different costs incurred in trying to run that program. And I don't know. I don't know what the exact budget is and how it's broken down, but that's what that article's saying, that after Paris Olympics are over, Team Canada basketball, and it's not just the men's team, it's the women's team and the Paralympic teams, will be $140 million in deficit. It's crazy. I don't understand it. Nameless is saying the Son of God arises for 3 days at the spring equinox, and on it goes. Okay, we're getting in some druid stuff right now. I like it. I'm all about it. Shere Khan saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Great rant at the beginning of the stream. I saw some same thing happening with tennis for the past 2 decades, getting a bit better now, but for the longest time, City would convert courts for hockey. Yeah, see, that's messed up. If somebody wants to play tennis on the tennis courts here in Toronto, they should be allowed to. There should be access to all kinds of sports that people want to play. In some ways, I wonder if tennis is more, a gatekeep sport from people in general. There's often the courts are in the country clubs, and there's not as many public courts for just average people to go play tennis at. I know in Tallahassee when I was growing up, there were lots of tennis courts for people that were just average people. But I wonder, where are the tennis courts publicly around the city that aren't behind private country club walls? That's what I'm saying, is that's kind of stuff. And as Shirkan wants to play tennis, well, get the tennis courts opened up, is what I'm saying. You guys could do seasonal things, switch them back and forth, considering the season is kind of what you do, right? You put the hockey rinks out there for the fall and winter, and you have the spring and summer, the tennis courts. I think that can work for both sports. Seriously. Name is really on this tip. Let's see what he's saying. The Romans, Greeks, Norse, they were all pagans. How do you get a bunch of pagans to accept Christianity? Let's think about it. Wow, you're getting deep on this. Now, once again, religion is not one of my expertise. I really, in some ways, have avoided religious learning as much as possible. Now, I like the ideas of what you guys express in this, like as far as Trevor, Randolph, different people will say good sayings and things to be as a good Christian or whatever religion you are. I can get behind that. I love the ideas of like humanity and being for people and looking out for each other. And everybody's my brother or sister, and that we are all connected. I love those kind of ideals from it. I feel like religion has so many good positive things about it. It's just to get railroaded by the bad people and doing bad things. Like in my rant yesterday, listen, I think that Judaism is a fantastic faith, but in some ways it's being hijacked by a very fucked up country and making it look bad, very, very bad right now. Now, most good Jewish people are probably anti what Israel's doing right now. And then that's awesome. That's the way it should be. So I want to make sure everybody's clear on this, that even though I said, call me an anti-Semite if you want, I really do believe and love a lot of Jewish people. And I think that they're caught in the middle. It's just like people in Russia that are anti the war in Ukraine, that are fighting against Putin on the inside. There are Jewish people that are fighting against Israel from the inside also. And I stand with you guys. I want y'all to know that. I really do. I really, really do. All right, let's see. Let's keep going. Chris is saying the biggest issue in Brampton driving is the way they infilled the area with subdivisions and no roads. Traffic is the issue. Traffic. Again, Lex, the idea of racism is far too much on your mind, bro. Well, I guess so. I mean, I look at everything in this kind of light. I just don't know why you introduced this topic. I don't really connect Brampton with Team Canada. And I just don't get why you brought this up. I don't want to be talking about Brampton. I just don't want to be talking about it. Now, I'll agree with this part of this. If you're going to bring this up, this is a really bad design of suburbs and different things. In fact, I saw a video recently on designing neighborhoods with cross streets and more than one exit to a subdivision. The real problems are there's like all these traffic's funneled into one roads, and people get spend so much time in their commute in traffic, waiting. Now, if we were smart, we would build our roads in a grid system. So there's all kinds of free flowing all over the place and not so much flowing right into main arteries where everybody's jammed up. There should be all kinds of different ways. We have better public design of our streets system. This wouldn't be an issue out in Brampton. So subdivisions, stop fucking making one entrance to your subdivisions and fucking make a bunch of ways in and out of your neighborhoods and stop doing this bullshit. City planning, urban planning, you guys should be smarter. And you can fucking solve a lot of the traffic problems around the GTA if y'all would just design the road grid better. Seriously, it's that simple. I do it on Sim City. Wayne saying, being a very political person, I have to respond to misinformation. Justin Trudeau was a school teacher. He was in a school play. presentation, and he was depicting a Middle Eastern. He was not at a party. Well, I appreciate this fact check. I know there's two different pictures of him in blackface from two different things. There may be a Halloween party picture also. But either way, listen, there's a lot of unfortunate, dumbass shit that has happened with blackface. Ted Danson did blackface. I've seen old clips of different people from the 70s and 80s that did blackface, and I'm just like, holy crap. Did everybody forget this person who's beloved now did blackface in like 1982? There's a lot of this. I mean, I watch a lot of old reruns on Thursdays sometimes, and I see how times have changed from like watching old Fantasy Island or Charlie's Angels episodes. And you see how society changed and how things are different. I mean, I get it. I'm not going to defend Justin for doing that because honestly, it is a dumb thing to do, is to try and put some color on your face and act like that. It's really, really, really dumb, stupid thing. And he should have known that. If he had any political aspirations when he was younger, he shouldn't have done that shit. So, but it still it's the one thing they throw in his face over and over again, his haters. And it's like, get over it. And it's like so dumb. And in some ways, we understand he did this and it's dumb. And it looks real bad in today's world. But back then, we were in a different world back then in some ways. And I'm not saying it was right. But once again, things were different back then, for sure. For sure. Yeah. I'm with you on that. Chris is saying, did I say driving in Brampton is bad because of race? No, I never did. You did. Remember that. You thought the idea, not me. So don't interject your thoughts into my mind. Do not speak from my mind. Well, Chris, what I'm going to say is what you're saying. The next part is usually that when I hear people say this, when people talk about Brampton in certain ways, when I've heard them complain about Brampton, it's usually the next part is about like people that live there. And I'm sorry, you're exactly right. I inferred the next step. But I'm just saying the argument that you just made is usually followed up by that next part that I assumed. And I shouldn't have done that. You're right. You're right. I shouldn't have assumed that you were meaning that. But why even bring this up? Like, seriously, in some ways, I don't mind you guys bringing up weird shit from out of the blue on this channel. But I just don't get these connections. My stream was about funding for Team Canada. And, I'm going to set up the game today. And we'll do the cosmic card. We'll do the normal stuff. And I know I go into tangents and talk about big subjects sometimes. But in some ways, it's like, why are we talking about Brampton today? Seriously. Why are we talking about Brampton? Smooth Brown Man saying Black Moon was a hip hop group in the 90s. Yeah, I was in the States in the 90s. And they were not on the radio where I was. I've never heard of them before. I'm not going to lie. I'm a radio DJ. I know a lot about music. I've never heard of Black Moon until today. So that's going to be an Achilles heel for me. I'm not going to know Canadian music because I grew up in the States and they didn't play Black Moon in the States. Fiercely saying, never heard of Black Moon, and I'm somewhat knowledgeable on hip hop from the 90s and the 2000s. Chris is saying 100% great hip hop group. I'm sure they're probably pretty good. I think Neon Moon is the other moon that everybody talks about. That's right. Smooth saying more underground, not really popular. Okay, well, that's part of the reason why maybe too. Is more underground. I like that. Name was saying, Lex, again, man, it's not that these people don't see that basketball is on the rise. They see it, and that's exactly why they're fearful of it. No, I agree with this. They want status quo. They don't like change, and in some ways, they don't want to upset the balance of certain things. And they feel like in some ways this is what's happening with that rise. I agree with you, Nameless. Is once again, you said this before. It's like, yeah, they know what they're doing. They're evil, and that's why they're doing what they're doing. No, I won't disagree with you, Nameless. There are very much people that are evil in what they're doing at the top and in certain ways. Fiercely saying hip-hop music from 2020 and up is trash, in my opinion. No, I might agree with you for the most part. Now, there are artists that are still doing good stuff the old school way. Like I say, Nas in the last 2 years has had one of the best albums in a long, long time. Alchemist still making very good music. Killer Mike. There's artists out there that are still doing it the right way. But there's so much trash, bullshit, kind of weird ass, like crazy rap and hip hop at this point. It's just not the same. And some of it's lazy. Some of it's over auto-tuned. Some of it's very formulaic. Some of it's just the same subjects and the same beats and the same sound over and over again. There's not a lot of originality in hip hop these days. These guys are all carbon copies of each other, and they're all kind of got the same formula at this point. It's kind of, their videos, I know from watching their videos, they're very, there's some artists that are really striving and doing new stuff, though. Chance the Rapper is another really great artist who's done some really good stuff. I'm really about the old school lyricists that just really have good rhymes with the right beat and swag, like a KRS-One. If you're able to do that kind of hip hop, you still got my heart today. Like if you are lyrically badass, like you can just go off on some bars and it just sounds awesome with the music you got. You're doing it the right way. Now, if you're like and you're like kind of all like all over the place, maybe you're mumble rapper. Maybe you're fucking over using like effects on your voice or doing weird shit with like it's just there's a lot of stuff that sounds the same with the click track and like the same kind of noises around it. We want innovation in music. We want to hear new things that we never heard before. And if y'all know a formula and you're just beating us over the head with the same formula over and over again, you're not doing it right, is what I'm saying. Yeah, you're not doing it right when you do that. Yeah. I'm with you, Fiercey. Name is saying sometimes your perspective just needs a slight little tweak, big cat. This is fine. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you. You want to bring that part of the element in there that they do know what they're doing and that they are evil. Nameless, that's fine. You can remind me of that. I'm not going to go against what you're saying. I agree. Chris is saying, by the way, GFL is now my favorite Raptors player to cheer on. Laugh out loud. I really hope the dude is able to average over 10 points. I want him to average over 20. I want him to average as much as he can because that's his job. He's a scorer. And that's why I want him to get over 20 points. If he gets more than 20 points against Philadelphia on Sunday, I'll be very happy, Chris. I just want him to fill it up. That's what he's good at. I want him to do what he's good at. That's what the coaches always say. Don't try and do stuff you're not good at. Do what you're good at already. Do what you do really well and do that the best of your ability. And what he does very well is score. And that's why he needs to score. And I'm saying he can't do it on the high quantity. He needs to do it on high efficiency. If he gets only 5 shots, he needs to make 3 or 4 of them at least. If he makes 3 or 4 of 5 shots that he gets in the game, I'll be happy. And that's part of he did that in the last game. He got like 5 out of 9. That's not bad. So, he has a route to get more in my good graces. It's just I want him to clean up his game and be more efficient. I don't want like a lot, and like, high volume and not very efficient. That's what he's been for the 905 this year. And that's the thing that's bugged me about it. Let's see. Smooth saying Gangstar, Guru, and Premiere just to get a rep. YouTube that track. All right. I mean, all right. I don't really do scouts on this, but I don't really want to watch the whole video. I know Gangstar though and Guru. I know these guys. I don't think I'd have to scout this. All right, let's see. Name is saying David from Bob Cajun. Bob Cajun. That's right. Maybe I'll put that on afterwards just for listening for myself. But yeah, thanks, Smooth, for the tip. Wayne's saying, we know you're sensitive to certain demographic issues, Lex. However, it can't all be racism when it involves non-white people. Basketball issues here is partly racism. Brampton comments are not. It's true. Okay. All right. I want to make sure. Yeah, maybe I was unfairly coming down on Chris. I think it was just I didn't understand his connection, why he's bringing Brampton up. There was no necessary reason to bring Brampton up. In some ways, it's like a non sequitur. It's not very interesting conversation. And I think in some ways he was trying to shape my stream right away. And I wasn't having it. First of all, he's wrong about my topic. He's trying to talk about our roster. And that's not what I was talking about. I'm talking about the funding for Team Canada today. We can do roster talk and Team Canada, like roster build more soon, towards the Olympics. And then like he started talking about Brampton traffic. And I'm like, why are we fucking talking about this? So I got a little testy. That's all it was. And maybe I did jump to conclusions about that. You guys are right. I think I'm sensitive to it because there's been racial issues out there, like people have done stuff out there that's fucked up and hate. And maybe that's part of it. I don't know why. Yeah. Chris is saying Black Moon is from my city. Awesome. I'll probably check them out too, just because you brought them up. Chris is saying at Wayne, yes, when I drive from Collingwood into the city and get to Brampton, the traffic suddenly has my blood boiling. It's the traffic, all the highways and the airport, the massive gridlock. Well, can you go another way is what I would say. Sometimes that's the best thing is just find an alternate route. There's all kinds of different ways to do stuff. I found all kinds of crazy good routes to get to where I'm moving to from different places. One of the best is to get to Adriana's house. I don't have to even drive in the city. No traffic at all. It's awesome. It's going to be so good. I'm going to be really looking forward to it. And I'm not going to be this kind of person that's trying to get caught up in traffic all the time or driving all the time. I'm going to be very smart about when I drive and knocking off a bunch of things on my list. I'm not out there joyriding, burning up gas for no reason. I'm going to be very, very smart about how I'm doing things very soon because I haven't had a vehicle in 10 years. and I'm gonna have a vehicle very soon. And I gotta make sure I'm not like gas guzzling in all kinds of stupid ways that I don't need to. Let's see. Smooth saying if Canada meddles, the funding will be there. It will be a moot point. I hope this is right, and I'll predict this too. That if Canada does super well, it's all over. The haters aren't going to be able to stop this train. That it's going to go rolling through the station and right on down the track, and they can't stop it. They can't stop it. G saying it's not just paying players; it's trainers, medical staff, travel, food, accommodations, etc. are costly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And if we want to give them the very best to compete with the US program, we want to give them the very best, right? So in some ways that could be expensive. I don't know. Is it between staying at the Motel 6 or the Embassy Suites? Is it are you flying first class? Are you getting a private jet? Or are you flying with everybody else on this is the kind of stuff they got to figure out. And like G said, there's a lot of personnel that goes into the infrastructure to help the team, whether it's trainers, medical staff, the coaches. This is all stuff that will cost money. Wayne saying, I live in Georgetown. The driving there is scary. I'm an immigrant, and there are levels and assimilation issues at work. Lex, people have to respect basic safety protocols. It's not a big ask. Yeah, I'm with you on this for sure. I'm with you on this. Yeah, I can go all kinds of routes talking about transportation issues. In some ways, I see a very big anti-cyclist movement, people that just hate bicyclists because they want bike lanes, and they say, oh, they break all the rules and run through all the lights and all this stuff. I hate that movement too, because honestly, cyclists are the right people. Cyclists should be protected. And some people think that they dehumanize them and say, well, I don't care. I'm just going to hit you on the bike. And we've seen people hit people on bikes in Toronto in recent years, and it's absolutely wrong and horrible. In some ways, the people that are riding the bikes are making the sacrifices for us and not driving their cars. And I appreciate them. If I could get away with just riding a bike like I have in the last 10 years in the next chapter of my life, I would. But I can't. I have to absolutely have a vehicle at this point. So it's a weird thing. And anti-cyclist culture makes me mad because I'm on their side. They're the ones that are trying to do the right thing. Let's see. But yeah, I don't know your perspective, Wayne, necessarily in this and what you're talking about exactly. But listen, there needs to be more allowances for people to feel welcome and not feel like they don't belong here. Toronto is a place where everybody belongs and everybody should feel comfortable and not feel like they're an outsider, especially if they just arrived. They definitely, we want to have open arms for people because our resources are diversity and also our amazing intellect and amazing, great people that do come to Toronto and that are attracted to come here. We get the best people coming to Toronto from all over the world. I truly believe that. I truly, truly believe that. Let's see. Chris is saying Scarborough is where I grew up, West Hill. I know that area. That's where my grandmother lives. And that area was built out better. The traffic is not nearly as bad when I go to visit friends. And wow, the area is Caribbean, easygoing traffic. Laugh out loud. Yeah, it's actually done very well. There's a lot of cross streets with Kingston Avenue going out, Kingston Road going out there. There's a couple of side roads on the side of it that you can kind of get off. The Lawrence stuff helps. I would say that there's a lot better flow out there, but there's still problems with bottlenecks and the planning and the structure of the street, the grid in certain areas out there still. That's out where near Adriana lives too. David's saying, I don't drive. I get really bad road rage. It's insane. I do too. I've been in road rage incidents in Florida, and that's absolutely dangerous because people do have guns in their cars. But yeah, when I was younger in college at Florida State in the 90s, I would get in yelling at stuff with other people in other cars. I would, like David. Oh yeah. In some ways, I'm going to be very patient with my new era of driving that's about to start. And I'm not going to try and reacquire some of my old bad habits of what David's talking about. We really are birds of a feather, David, because I do get bad road rage too at times. Some ways I'm just like, whatever. I got to just be like that. As I get older, I'm more mellow. But when I was younger, I was crazy. Chris is saying, talk to you later. People kind of pissed off, laugh out loud, but I'll be back. Haha. Chris, I know you and I are kind of sometimes oil and water too, but it's all good. I love you, man. And I wasn't fair to you. I have to apologize that I shouldn't have just assumed that thing about the Brampton comment. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. You're exactly right. Let's see. Trevor's saying today is the day that the Son of God gave his life for you so you can have life. So don't take it for granted. That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, anybody who's doing their services and everything they do for Easter this weekend and stuff like that, I wish you a very, very happy Easter and celebrating your views and going to church and doing whatever you like to do to celebrate, whether it's putting Easter eggs in the yard whether it's, just spending time with your family and having a nice meal, whatever kind of meal you want to have. Anybody of any religion right now, whatever holidays you got going on, I wish you well. And that's what I would say right there. Yeah. Cool Cat saying PS43 b-ball court in a city neighborhood. Giants of Africa b-ball court is in one of the indigenous communities. And James is pointing to that. Yeah, I love those courts. That PS43 court is my old home court that I used to play on when I lived in Kensington Market. I was so happy to see Pascal come there and convert it to his PS43 hard court. It's really, really cool. Now, I hope those courts stay that way. I always worry about like the city coming in and changing stuff around. No, there's been some beautiful courts built in the city in recent years. I'm very, very happy about it. Some of this, my things about was saying about basketball courts in Toronto is something I've seen over decades. And that was different times in different places. Like if I go around the corner to the schools around the corner, will I see the hoops on the backboards? Will I see them there? That's what I wonder. And when I see hoops that aren't there, I'm like, what is going on here? Maybe somebody wants to come play on this court and they can't because there's no hoop there. That's what I'm wondering. Fiercely saying, gotta go, fam. Enjoy your day and Good Friday if you do celebrate. Yeah, happy Good Friday to everybody who celebrates those holidays. And yeah, for sure. Wayne saying, oops, again, I live in Georgetown, close to Brampton. My there in previous was referring to Brampton as a scary city to drive in. Facts are facts. New residents are a menace. Nothing to apologize for. Okay. All right. That's a different way than what I thought you were going to say. That's all right. All right. I'm going to keep going. Cool Cat saying, we should have way more courts by now with Team Canada so successful and Raptors' success. Yeah, there's a lot of courts in downtown Toronto. It's just that some of them are not usable because they're not putting the rims up. They're just backboards. And I wonder about that sometimes. I know some of it is liability. And that place doesn't want people coming down there and playing just in case they get hurt. And then all of a sudden they catch a lawsuit or something. Shir Khan saying, Lex, I realized this too late in life, but what media channels put out there creates a bubble and we aren't given a whole picture with exact info. We need to follow independent media that doesn't have bias. Yeah. And that's kind of like what JP was saying the other day, that he appreciates me as kind of an independent information source. That in some ways, I don't have any allegiance to any kind of corporate like entity that may have directives and shaping perceptions and opinions about things. That this is really true, that people will really try and shape your perception and how you care about certain things by putting information out that may not tell the whole truth. And I think that's part of what this article we're talking about today is doing. It wants people to think that Team Canada basketball is in trouble. And that may not be necessarily true. Shir Khan, I appreciate you, man. And as we get older, we get wiser. And hopefully we understand how to suss out things. It's going to get even crazier now with AI and so much non-journalistic integrity as far as reporting the facts, or even like, there's a blurring over, and I'm that kind of person, of editorial with news. There's a lot of op-ed pieces and opinion pieces that people are taking as news pieces. And that's just not what they are. They're somebody's opinions, just like this channel is from me. It's not necessarily, I'm maybe telling you guys information you didn't know, but a lot of this is op-ed, me talking. And there's a lot of news pieces out there. They're masquerading as news pieces. They're actually opinion pieces. And that's something we got to suss out too. Cool Cat saying, Grady's development is my focus. I really want him to be Scotty shooting guard. Yeah, I can see this. I like the height at shooting guard. I want big lineup. And if Grady is a 6'8" shooting guard for the Raptors and Scotty is the point guard at his height, that could be a big lineup. Now, IQ should be in there probably too, so to take care of the small guards. But still, if IQ is the shortest guy on our team and Grady is the next shortest and RJ, then, hey, I'm okay with that. That's a big lineup. And in some ways we've seen recently, having size is important in the NBA. Yeah, Cool Cat saying, I was disappointed in the marketing of Team Canada after a successful FIBA performance. Embarrassing. When I came here for post-secondary, I recall Hockey Canada international games highly marketed. Yeah, in some ways, they're losing the ball of lightning that FIBA was last summer and let it fizzle out and really didn't capitalize on it. You're exactly right. It was disappointing how much we did not cover it or talk about it in the media. And I think that's very much on purpose is what I'm worried about. Nameless is saying, blackface isn't or wasn't even funny, man. Not even then. Not even 1972. Still wasn't funny. I don't get it. I don't think it was either. There's a lot. Yeah. In some ways, I wish we hadn't even brought up Brampton or Justin Trudeau today. Honestly, those two words should not have been brought up in this channel. honestly, seriously. Cool Cat saying our Team Canada players need the same type of NBA accommodations and services. It's about maintenance of the body for optimum performance. I completely agree about this. And I say, don't shortchange them on the resources to be the highest excellence they can be. You know, the USA is going to get invested in because in some ways they want this to happen for sure. Because in some ways they understand this. You know, the European countries probably have really good ways of doing this. Now, another thing I want to talk about that is a hindrance to Canada basketball is very interesting is the NIL. Now we know Zach Edey is in the tournament right now. He's doing very well for Purdue. Now he is a very attractive, marketable young man, but he's not allowed to do NIL. It's because he's a Canadian citizen. You know that technically all the Canadian basketball players that play in college are on visas, work visas, to play in the U.S. Now, the rules of the NIL do not allow people that are on work visas to collect monies from NIL sponsors. And that, in some ways, is not fair to the Canadian athletes that may play in the college system in the United States. And that, in some ways, is part of the reason why the young lady from Scarborough is going to enter the WNBA draft this summer, because she could not get NIL money in university. So she's going to go ahead and jump to the pros and declare herself to the draft. Aaliyah. So it's kind of an unfair thing. And in some ways that hinders Canada basketball growth. The fact that our young Canadian players will not get compensated the same way as their American counterparts on the other side of the border. So in some ways that may need to be adjusted as far as fairness for Canadian players that want to play for American universities. So that's an interesting thing to talk about also. In some ways that is a problem too. Let's see. David's saying, haha, we sure are birds of a feather. Yeah, we are, David. We are for sure. We're a little bit ornery people. Seymour saying, oh, what a hangover. Did you go over that rant already? Yeah, Seymour, you can backtrack and see what I said. I wasn't as venomous or crazy as I thought I would be. I was kind of worked up about it. And Adriana was asking me, what are you going to talk about? And it was like, when I was telling her, I may have been more worked up when I told her about it than I did on the stream. But I made it clear and I made it all a kind of like spelled it all out for you guys to understand what I'm talking about. I don't know if this is a real concern we should have. This may just be muck raking by the CBC. It very much could. Their priority is hockey. They have hockey on CBC all the time. And obviously, if they can hurt the sport of basketball in Canada, they will. And I feel like that's what this piece is by Nick Wells of CBC. The article came out in March 5th. So this is not a new article. It's been out for almost this whole month. So, and what I'll do is I'll go ahead and paste it in. If you guys want to go read the article yourselves, I'll go ahead and put in the comments here, the link at the bottom there. So you guys can click on it and go look at the exact article I'm talking about. Let's see. Seymour saying, big up the West Hill, went to Borden. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, West Hill guys. All right, then. All right. Shere Khan saying, this has now become the enlightened stream with all these different topics on Friday. I like it because we see what real opinions are in our Raps Freaks family. Books, people. Please read more books and get woke. Yeah, Shere Khan, I'm with you on this. Again, I commend you for your great questions on Raptors tonight and just being an awesome, informed, very enlightened Raptors fan, and on all kinds of subjects. Listen, I know my stream doesn't just cover basketball, and we do go all over the place. That's for sure. And I'm glad that a lot of y'all value it. I know some people don't, and they get turned off by it, and they don't watch me ever again. And that's fine. Once again, I'm not trying to please every single person and make a YouTube channel that caters to millions of people. I really do have just a specific thing I'm doing here. And if anybody enjoys it, I appreciate it. There's enough of y'all that really enjoy it that it really makes it worthwhile for me. So I like that. Mo's saying, I'm loving Kobe Simmons more and more. And his Twitter, now he's saying things. Oh, okay. Kobe Simmons is on Twitter saying stuff. I don't think I follow him. So maybe I'm going to go look him up real quick, Mo. And let's go see what Kobe Simmons is saying. Because Mo's all about what he's saying on there. Jordan Kobe is his handle. He's saying a bottle of water. Oh, wait, that's old. All right, let's see. He's got his highlights from playing for the Raptors. The win is coming. Don't let the when worry you. I like that. He's doing a little play on words. The win is coming. Don't let the when, W-H-E-N, worry you. I like that. He sought the Lord and he heard and he answered. Signed with the Raptors 10-day. That's right. You go, Kobe. Yeah, I hope you do well against the Sixers on Sunday. In some ways, I think you're only going to get the 110-day. And they're going to do tryouts for the rest of the year. There may be, how many more weeks? There's only like 2 more weeks. So there may be 2 more 10 days left to give to guys for tryouts. And we'll have to see who gets them. We'll have to see who gets them. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Cool Cat saying Canada should offer its own version of NIL for our college players. Maybe. I mean, that may be another area where we see they don't value the game as much. And they're like, yeah, we're not going to do this. I don't know. Their university system maybe should do some sort of level of this in a model like the U.S. system. We'll have to see how this all shakes out. But right now, young Canadian athletes are at a disadvantage when it comes to U.S. NIL and the new system being established in the States right now. They're not allowed to get paid by NIL as it stands right now. So we'll have to see. Seymour saying, Lex reads more in a day than I did in my entire life. Salute all Raptor freaks and freakettes. Happy Easter. Yeah, happy Easter to you guys too. It's been a little bit of a weird stream today with Pooh Richardson, and man, I wanted to celebrate the birthday of Robert Archibald, but I wanted to be honest and fair about him too. All right, let's do a recap, guys. First of all, there is a Raptors 905 game today. They are playing the last game of the season against the Motor City Cruise at 7:30 at Paramount Fine Food Center. Isaac Barnett is the crew chief. Eric Alig is the referee, and Kaz Beverly is the umpire. So, yeah, get the 905 game in while you can. It's the last one, 7:30 tonight, and maybe be the last game that Eric Curry coaches ever, at least at this level, hopefully. We'll hope for that. So, yeah, there's your preview for the 905 game, last one of the season. And tomorrow, I'm doing the Share the Love Club for the Raptors 905 crowd for this great season of leading the league in ticket sales for G League and just being an enthusiastic, awesome beacon of hope for the future. The 905 crowd, you're getting the Share the Love Club tomorrow. So join me at 9:30 tomorrow morning. We're going to do a little overview of the last 905 game and also talk about their season a little bit and just really celebrate 905 culture and with the 905 team. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Cool Cat saying, Lex, our athletes that go to university in the U.S. should get marker NG deals here from Canadian companies. Yeah, that could be the way to do it. You just put some advertising for Zach on Canadian TV and he gets some money from that. I'm all about that. I love the fact that the ladies are making more money than the men in the NIL system so far. Caitlin Clark, number 1. Yeah, that's awesome. That's so awesome. Most saying, bye, 905. Finally, I'm happy. Well, you take too much happiness in the demise and sadness of the 905 this season. I wish you would be more supportive of them. I know I don't like Eric Curry either, but in some ways, the entity of the 905 team is something we should still be trying to be supportive and positive towards. And I mean, the guys on that team have worked really hard and a lot of confusion, a lot of crazy, stupid stuff happening with them too on their level, and they've done an okay job. I have access to their stats now, so I can do a real good breakdown. And maybe I shouldn't say this. Fiercey's here. I'm going to do a trivia on the 905 at some point on their stats. So maybe I shouldn't have told you all that. Keep up the great streams, Lex, always. Thank you, Mo. I really appreciate that. It is a grind, but I enjoy doing it. As of today, the Raptors have a 73% chance of staying in the 6th position. The end of the season, and that's like a 45% chance to get in the top 6 picks. So really, it's a 45% chance to keep our picks, 72% chance to finish 6th. So that's not totally horrible. They announced that the Wolves owner, Glenn Taylor, has backtracked on his offer to sell the team to Alex Rodriguez and those guys, and they're pissed. Oh my gosh, they are pissed about that. Also, the ex-G Leaguer that murdered somebody is not going to face the death penalty. That's what they're saying on here. Holy crap. Crazy stuff going on around the league. Yeah, happy birthday, Robert Archibald. If you guys are feeling suicidal, please get help. There are suicide hotlines out there that you can call and talk to if you're not feeling right with things. It's always a better solution than the final solution, and it is not the right one. It may seem dark at times, but things can get better. Trust me, I know. I've been in those places myself and gotten out of them, and I'm here today like this. So know that nothing is permanent. It's temporary, and this too shall pass if you are going through issues right now, just so you know. All right, that's it. I'm going to get off the air now. Check your Yahoo fantasy teams. If you're in the playoffs, very close matchups. Peter is 20 ahead of me. It looks like Meredith is beating Duke by a good margin now, about 50. Kunna is losing to JP, and Raymond Jacob has a half-point lead over David right now, which is absolutely impressive that David is kind of losing to Raymond Jacob on the down low right now as the number 1 seed to the 8 seed. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Cool Cat saying, ladies season and this season have been watching more women college games than the men. That's awesome, and that's good. The growth of women's basketball from the NCAA in the United States has been ballooning, and Caitlin Clark is a big, huge catalyst to that. Yeah. Cool Cat saying we're getting at least number 4. Hopefully we get that number 1 pick. I'm all about that. I love that. We could repeat and get the number 4 again, just like Scotty. That'd be awesome. Cool Cat saying Minnesota owners saw the team winning and money being made, so he wants back out of selling the team, I'm sure. That might be true. Minnesota's actually doing well right now, and now Glenn Taylor wants to keep the team. Well, that ownership group is mad about that. That's for sure. Take care, Lex and crew. Take care also to you, Edmund, and family on your travel. I see your travel log videos. That's awesome, Edmund, doing the YouTube content. Follow Edmund on Race Mode Travels. He's doing like cool clips with his family while they travel around in the Philippines. So if you want to see kind of like Dennis Schroeder or Ellen Schroeder kind of behind the scenes kind of clips, but with a Race Mode Travels and his channel, you should check it out. You should check out his channel for sure. Wayne saying America's so unfair. Why not include all players? Don't they contribute? Don't they pay school fees? Our government should be lobbying the college decision makers on this. I don't know if it's some sort of way that they're trying to hurt things on purpose, or it's just that the legalities of the visa situation with the work visa need to be worked out. But yeah, this is a disadvantage for our young Canadian basketball players right now. But I think this is very new, and the NIL system has to be sussed out and worked out in certain ways. And this may be an area that they do need to figure out the rules on a little bit better. The international players that come to the U.S., how does NIL work with them? So we'll have to see. Zach is the one, but he's going to be done soon, so it won't really matter. In some ways, he don't care about getting that money from the NIL. He actually does get some endorsement deals, I think, up here. I think he does. I'm not totally sure, though. Let's see. Isaac's saying, fuck betting, but I like these draft odds. Yeah, we got to do what we got to do. We got to take care of things and what we got to do in the position the Raptors are in right now. All right, thanks for watching me today, guys. I appreciate everybody. Sorry if I'm a little feisty. Chris, once again, I apologize for inferring and assuming a little bit more than what you were saying. But once again, I don't want to bring up Justin Trudeau on the stream if we don't have to. And in some ways, I don't know why we were talking about Brampton. Y'all want to talk about the traffic in Brampton today? Okay, we can talk about the traffic in Brampton. I don't see the correlation to the Team Canada subject, but anyway. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow, Saturday, Share the Love Club, 9:30 a.m. sharp. I'll be here sharing the love for the Raptors 905 community and the great buzz and the feelings and the great people that went to the games this year for the 905. All right, and watch the game tonight, 7:30. If you want to see Eric Curry's last game coached as the 905, well, hopefully that's true, what I just said. Masai, make it true, please. Don't let Eric Curry coach ever again after this. That's just what I'm asking you, please, personally. On behalf of Monique Lawrence and myself, never, ever let Eric Curry coach ever again after today. Please, please, Messiah. All right, y'all. Let's go Raptors 905. Let's go Team Canada. Let's go Canada in basketball in Canada. That's right. Let's go Team Canada, men's, women's, Paralympics, and basketball in general in the country of Canada. Dr. James T. Nathan.